All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here talking about real music in real time for a few real people out there just like you and just like me, officially in the new year. Happy New Year. If you didn't see my last video, I'm going to be talking about how Paul Stanley is giving out free advice over on Twitter, now known as X. But anyway, before I get to old Uncle Paul, we've got this here. This finished in my top 20 at number 20 for the year, Eagle Flight by Revolution Saints. Now, it's a good album. I'm not as bullish on the Rev Saints from this era as I was, say, a few years ago when they had Jack Blades in the band. And I think the material was more accessible, more listenable. The in-house crew, we'll just call it that, over at Frontiers Music, they do get accused from time to time of being a little repetitive, all right? And meaning that you can't tell one band from another. They put out an album, say, by Giant, right? And Giant sounds a lot like Perfect Plan, which ends up sounding a little bit like Revolution Saints. It's not always true. There was this album by Killer Kings like a year and a half ago. In-house was one of the best albums of the year. Just blew me away. The material was better. There were some more, I would say, traditional instincts there rather than trying to reinvent the music. This is still good. It's got Dean Castronovo. It's got Jeff Pilson. What they should have done here is made Jeff Pilson the musical director here, producer, writer, possibly, because honestly, the material is good, but the production is just not my thing to the extent that it could have been. I think it's a missed opportunity. And by the way, for fans of Revolution Saints, a new album is on the way. A new single was dropped before the new year, so you can go check that out as well. Dean Castronovo about to hit the road with Journey, so that's exciting for Journey fans. It's a grueling thing. In fact, Dean is talking about going back out on the road and what a sacrifice it is. And as you get older, I'm not the only one that doesn't want to be out all the time. I'm finding that more people, not even just people my age, but just people like the comfort of their own home. So anyway, folks, let's move on to a less boomer attitude here, and let's talk about Paul Stanley. So Paul Stanley advises on the pain of stupid people posting on social media. All right, that's the headline here from this website that I frequently reference. But here's what Paul Stanley is doing, all right? Now, again, Paul Stanley telling us not to be stupid when you post, all right? Let me see. He has a quote here. He says that comedian Ricky Gervais, I think that's how you say his name, gave him this particular line. When you're dead, you don't know you're stupid. The pain is felt by others. The same thing happens when you're stupid. Okay. Anyway, I don't know if that made a whole lot of sense. I guess if you're dead, the pain, meaning the pain of your death, is felt by others. You're not aware of that because you're dead, although you may be aware of that. But in any event, that's a theological discussion. So here's the deal with Paul Stanley. All right, Paul Stanley gives advice about how you should post on social media. This is coming from a guy who was completely wrong about the advice he was giving people 3 years ago. And no, I'm not going to let it go until somebody apologizes and acknowledges that, hey, what's this all-case mortality thing? Now, again, the media could win a Pulitzer Prize. They're not going to try because they're bought and paid for by certain companies. And I honestly, folks, that's a real problem, because if you want to earn a living, you've got to bow down here to bail. Yes, I will take your money and I'll be happy about it. And I won't say anything about all these statistics. And if you're Paul Stanley, right, you're part of that community. You're part of the mainstream influencing class. So again, if you're Paul Stanley and you're giving people advice, especially medical advice, that you should really not take that too seriously, right? Also, Paul Stanley, who briefly came out as pro biology, all right, he did this tweet or whatever, this X. If it's not a tweet, what's it called? Is it just an X? Yeah, I did an X and a cross. I don't know, but tweet and Twitter, that kind of made sense. But anyway, if you're Elon Musk, you can call it anything you want and get away with it, and it seems to be fine. So, yeah, he came out as pro biology, and then all the people came at him, meaning that all of these other so-called influencers came out and shamed him. And so then he did this backpedaling routine. And it was just sad to watch. Like, I didn't mean to say it wasn't a struggle for people who are trapped in this body that they didn't ask to be trapped in. Look, if you don't have a grounding in reality and you don't have any kind of theological, benchmarks that you can at least at a very simplistic level grab onto, like, okay, God created us. I came out of my mother's womb this way. I think that's kind of settled. And so I am now just mocking God by saying, yeah, I was made the wrong way. Clearly, I'm trapped in the wrong body. And Paul Stanley initially had it right and said some strong things. And then, he recanted. And so I'm just giving examples of times when Paul Stanley wasn't the brightest bulb on Twitter. So even Dee Snider, by the way, held the line and said, you know what? I'm glad my parents didn't attempt to do this to me. And you're talking about a guy who wore makeup on stage, right? And so I know Paul Stanley did too. But the point being is that you had a chance to make a statement. And, Dee Snider paid the price. He was supposed to help out in this parade or something out in San Francisco. And he said, look, I guess I'm not going, and I'm not going to do that because I don't believe what these people are saying. Even Alice Cooper, another guy who wears makeup, and apparently the cosmetics line that supported Alice Cooper came out as being, pro child mutilation. That's what they were saying. We're for this. And so they came after Alice for being anti-child mutilation. So I don't know. There's a lot of stupid. He's right. There are a lot of stupid people posting, and you have the right to be stupid. So what I would say to him, being a more equal opportunity offender, is let the people post. Let the people say what they want to say, because you know who you want to follow, who you want to associate with. The more they post, the more you learn. You can learn how stupid they are. Now, according to Paul Stanley, the stupid people are probably not celebrities. I noticed that all the celebrities in Paul's orbit, those are the smart people. And here's my advice to Paul and all the so-called celebrities. You guys should live more and post less. How's that? Live more and post less. Do the things that you need to do with your family, your friends. I tell this to just regular people on Patreon. It's cool to have a discussion. It's cool to go back and forth a little bit. But at some point, I don't want to be getting notifications driving down the highway. I would just like to drive down the highway. If I'm going for a walk somewhere, got a new dog, like to take her for a walk, I got my phone, of course, just in case, emergency. I've got a call because, I don't know, maybe I've fallen and I can't get up. So in any event, the phone is buzzing and beeping, and it's like, stop. I mean, this is our present. It's not our future. It's now. And I would advise Paul Stanley, hey, Paul, post less and live more. That solves your problem. Your keyboard is not changing minds or hearts. Only God can do that. Right. Only God can change minds and hearts. And so I know that's a deep theological concept here. And for some, way out of the music lane here. But Paul Stanley not talking about music here. He's just talking about how there are stupid people on Twitter. And it's kind of like a self-evident truth. In fact, all of social media is just cluttered with people who really want to make their voice heard. And that can be good and it can be bad. Fortunately, over on X, you can use the blocking mechanism to get rid of people. Pretty sure the same thing is true over on Facebook, although I never go on Facebook anymore. I just, every so often, I'll look at a post that someone puts out there, but, I have no use for Facebook. Anyway, this you should have some use for if you're a fan of Dean Castronovo and you like the melodic rock sounds of music from the 80s with a more updated spin or twist on it. Eagle Flight, this came out last year, finished at number 20 on my top 20 countdown. The boys have another album coming out, and hopefully it's going to be a little better than that one. Dean still does a great job on vocals. He's not the songwriter, so I can't blame him for the material, but he sings his butt off as he usually does, even though he's a drummer who's about to go on tour with Journey yet again. So maybe you can see Dean out on the road. I'm sure he's just so happy to be away from his family for months at a time. It's just a blast, but the paycheck is pretty good from what I hear. It's pretty good. And for you rock star guys who are about to embark on tours, think of me, I wouldn't mind getting a check in the mail at some point. I'll be more than happy to keep promoting this music until all you guys drop, because apparently that's the plan. Nobody quits. Everybody drops. Jeff Pilson the other day from both Revolution Saints and Foreigner said, hey, we never said we were going to stop touring. We were just saying we're not going to do tours that are like 9 months long. So Foreigner's not quitting. Journey's not quitting. Def Leppard apparently is not quitting. Toto is not quitting. And a number of other bands who are on the road, they're not quitting because you know why? Because the money is really good. So there you have it, folks. Just cutting edge information that you won't get anywhere else. God bless everybody in the new year and continue to pray for peace in the Middle East. I don't care whose side of anything that you're on. I'd like to see the war stop. That would be the best case scenario. And all of these other wars that are going on, some of these wars are unnecessary and they need to stop immediately. So that's my take. That's my cutting edge geopolitical information for this video. God bless you again, and see you soon.